Avatar: The Last Airbender was one of my favorite shows growing up, and I've only grown to appreciate it even more as I get older. And for a show that's filled with great characters and interesting character arcs, I think Prince Zuko stands out from the bunch as the character who developed the most from pillar to post. He is a beautifully told, extremely human story of looking inward and finding self-love and peace, and it's a story that is defined in many ways by his shortcomings and setbacks, which is why Zuko is. I believe that Zuko's story begins visually with the scar that he bears upon his face. As a kid first seeing Zuko on screen, I felt that this scar made him appear intimidating, as I assumed it was a scar that he wore with pride from some kind of battle. But once you learn how he really got the scar, you soon realize that it is an ever-reminding sign of his failure. You see, when Zuko spoke out of turn during a Fire Nation war meeting, his father, the Fire Lord Ozai, decided to force Zuko into a one-on-one Agni Kai. But much to Zuko's surprise, he was not fighting the general he spoke out against, but rather his father. Zuko refused to fight Ozai, but in the words of his father, "You will learn respect, and suffering will be your teacher." And the damage inflicted by Lord Ozai left not only a physical scar on Zuko's face, but plenty of emotional damage as well. And this scar is truly an embodiment of Prince Zuko's self-perceived failures, which is only made more tragic by the fact that Zuko was morally in the right. The Fire Nation general was proposing a battle strategy that was unethical, yet Zuko had to pay the price for it. And for a vast majority of the show, Zuko's main motivation is to catch the Avatar so that he can redeem his failure and finally be recognized as worthy by his father. Perhaps my favorite aspect of Zuko's character arc is that he actually has the opportunity to redeem himself at the end of Season 2. In the words of his uncle, "Now you've come to the crossroads of your destiny. It is time for you to choose." And morally, he doesn't want to go against Iroh, because it seems like deep down he knows he probably should help the Avatar, but he's been lusting for redemption in his father's eyes for so long that when he sees an opportunity to earn it back, he turns on the only person who had been by his side for his entire journey in exile. When Zuko thought he had nothing, he had Iroh. But Zuko turns his back on him to achieve what he's been striving towards for so long. And when he's finally recognized by his father and out of exile, and seemingly achieved everything he ever wanted, he realizes he's still unhappy. It just doesn't feel right. And Zuko can't really understand why. That is, until he starts looking inward. You see, Zuko still feels empty and unfulfilled because he was never doing what he himself wanted to do. All of his actions up until this point were done with the goal of making someone else happy, or improving the view someone else had of him. And this is just no way to live. Now, Iroh gives quite a few great quotes throughout the series, and is always trying to help guide Zuko through his philosophy. But the quote that has always stuck with me the most, and I think is most pertinent to Zuko's arc, is, "You must never give in to despair. Allow yourself to slip down that road, and you surrender to your lowest instincts. In the darkest times, hope is something you give yourself." You see, for a majority of the show, Zuko had given in to despair and was acting upon his lowest instincts, primarily seen when he betrays his uncle, but when he begins to look inward and realizes that he is truly mad and unhappy with himself, he starts himself down a road of being able to give himself hope in the darkest times. And not just hope, but strength. The strength to not only know what the right thing to do is, but to act upon it. You see, young Zuko, before being burned and exiled, did this. He saw an unethical battle strategy and spoke out against it. And in Season 3 of this great show, we get to see the return of the true Zuko. The Zuko who had been lost and buried underneath a mountain of despair for so many years. And he finally comes to realize that while he had been trying so hard to get his biological father to notice him, his real father had been by his side, supporting him no matter what the entire time. While Iroh isn't technically Zuko's father, he loved Zuko as if he was his son, and was always there for him, even when Zuko didn't think he needed him. Getting to see Zuko finally embrace Iroh and apologize to him is such a heartwarming moment, not only because it's been built up to for so long, but because it signals extreme growth in Zuko. No longer is he shackled by his belief that he has to prove something to his biological father. Zuko finally understands that he is enough. But rather than being upset about his betrayal, we see that Iroh is happy to forgive Zuko because his only fear this entire time was that Zuko had lost his way. And the fact that Zuko makes the wrong choice initially at the end of Season 2 only makes his journey more relatable and human, as we all make mistakes sometimes and go down the wrong path from time to time. But Zuko should serve as a great reminder that it's never too late to change. Azula, Zuko's sister, is an incredible foil to the exiled prince throughout his story, and I think she is used beautifully to really highlight just how far Zuko has come, and also the importance of Zuko's growth. Azula was a prodigy and manipulator who was always at least one step ahead of Zuko, and is a goalpost he can seemingly never reach. But while Azula uses fear to control others, Zuko finds self-love and decides to love and trust others. And this gains him true allies. Zuko shows an ability to look inward, and this is why his side wins in the end. He may have forgotten who he was for a really long time, but he was able to find it and reconcile with himself. And Azula never looked inward. She was always focused on power and controlling others, so when she sees Katara enter the scene, she sees someone that she can hurt to exploit a weakness in her brother. But Zuko sees not only a valuable ally, but a friend he's grown to care about. And Zuko saving Katara ultimately results in the defeat of Azula in a beautiful full circle moment. All in all, Zuko's character arc serves as a great reminder that sometimes you need to lose and fail in order to understand and appreciate the small complexities of life that make us so special. Zuko felt shame for being defined by his failure, but in the end, it is his failure that crafted him into becoming the best version of himself. A Fire Lord far greater than the father he strived to make proud for so many years. And while the scar on his face served as an eternal reminder of his failure for so many years, I believe that by the end of the series, it became a symbol of his perseverance and the pain he was able to overcome. If you made it this far, I just wanted to say thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this analysis of Zuko's story, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. And if you agree, disagree, or just feel strongly about anything Zuko or Atla related, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.